All right, let's talk about finding the greatest common factor for this expression. And so we've got two kind of parts to it. We've got the numbers and then we've got the variables. And so let's look at the numbers. We've got a -4 and a 2. And if they're both negative, you automatically want to factor out the negative. But since they're not both negative, we will not factor out a negative. Just take it as a positive. So essentially, you want to think, well, what's the biggest number that they have in common if you're multiplying? Well, 4, I'm going to just focus on +4, not worry about positives and negatives because we already said that's not going to be a factor here. All right, so 4 is the same as 2 times 2, right? And we already have a 2. So we know we have a 2 in common. And that's the biggest thing we have in common. There's nothing else that you can multiply to get 2 and to get 4 that's bigger than 2, right? So they have a 2 in common. So we're going to divide both of these by 2. But we're also going to look at the variables. So this one has an n, this one has n to the third. So, that's an understood n to the first there. So that means that there's one n in the first term, and the second one has 3 n and n. So how many do they have in common? Well, they both have one n. So we can take an n out of both of those. And then now we have 3 p's and then one of them. So 1, 2, 3, and then just 1. They have 1 in common. So we can take out that variable as well. So there. And then the second term over here has an m, but the first one doesn't. So they don't have that in common. That's just an extra thing that the other one has. So there's nothing to take out or to factor out of that. So the way that you write the factored form is whatever you're dividing out, whatever you've got in common, your greatest common factor, we write that in front. So for this one, that's 2np. And then you're going to divide the numbers. So -4 divided by +2, that's -2. And then you're going to divide the variables, but you do that by subtracting the exponents. I know, yeah. All right, think about it this way. We have n divided by n. Well, that's the same as 3 divided by 3 or 50 divided by 50. Take a moment and put that in your calculator if you're not sure. Turn off my alarm. And just realize that anything divided by itself is 1. So a lot of times we'll say that cancels out. It just equals 1. But think -2 times 1 is still -2. It's not really going to change our answer here. So we don't have to include it. We're not going to put times 1 in our final answer. So I'm not going to write it here. And then we have p to the third divided by p. So we had p times p times p divided by p. Well, those would divide out to equal 1, and we're left with 2 of them multiplied together. So p times p is p squared. Now, that might be simpler for you to think about it. For a lot of people, another way is simpler to think, well, there's 3 of them and I'm taking 1 away. 3 minus 1 is 2. So it's p squared, p to the second. So whichever way would makes more sense to your brain, that's what you should do. All right, and then we have +2 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we just have +1, but we're going to have some letters after that. So we don't really have to include the 1 in our final answer. Now we've got n cubed divided by n. So that's the same as what we had here. We've got 3 of them. We're taking 1 away. So that's n to the second, n squared. P divided by p equals 1. So that's gone. And then there's that m that didn't have anything happening to it. So we would put m there. And so I would say this is a good final answer. Some teachers may want you to put this in the order of mn squared and just put the m in front. Just know that the m still has an exponent of 1, just like it did at the beginning. N is to the second. So you could put it in that order. 2np times -2p squared plus mn squared. So either one of those would work. I think they're both equivalent. All right, I hope that helps you. See you in the next one.